This is a Lego witch. And in this video, I'm gonna be building and blabbing about every Wizard of Oz minifigure ever made, and even some that weren't. So with all that said, Lego. Now, Lego recently just made a bunch of Wizard of Oz related sets, which I didn't buy because they didn't have any minifigures. So instead, I bought these 5 from a Lego Movie 2 minifigure series. That's right, Lego made these guys because of a 4-second cameo in a movie where they had 0 lines. Anyway, let's take a look at Dorothy Gale. In the beginning of the movie, it obviously started with a more black and white color, so you didn't really see her in this full colored look. But this minifigure is great. Her hair is made of this rubber material, so you can move the braids around a little bit, and she also has a double-sided face, which is kind of useful because this is basically her reaction to everything that happens in the movie. On top of the red slippers, one of the interesting things she has is this checkered dress, which to put on is really complicated, especially if you're only using one hand. But once you have it in place, you can place her right on, and it smoothly fits with her actual torso print. But how could I talk about Dorothy without her dog, Toto? Who's an adorable little schnauzer. I also made some of Dorothy's family members, which might represent the friends she made in the Land of Oz, but we're gonna ignore that for now. I also made her aunt who kind of flew around through the window during the tornado, and that magician fellow that she met while she was running away. Now that we've seen all those characters, let's go to the Land of Oz and see all the new ones. We're gonna take a little ride on a tornado that's gonna take us all the way to Oz. So let's go. Oh, I'm getting sucked out into the tornado. The next place we head to was, of course, Munchkin Land. And the most important character to show up in Munchkin Land was, of course, Glinda the Good Witch. Now, since Lego hasn't made Glinda the Good Witch, I decided to make my own, using the top half of Princess Aurora from the Disney minifigure series, as well as Tinkerbell's wand, and the Victorian woman from the Lego CMF series. I was even able to digitally render her into a bubble and fly her down. I also made a Lullaby League Munchkin who have this really weird headpiece in the actual movie, so I just gave her a ponytail thing instead. And I made another one that kind of just doesn't look anything like them, but I like the way it looks. And then of course we have Mayor Munchkin, who I gave the hat of the doctor from that Disney minifigure series. I also made the coroner, who is very excited about the dead witch. Oh, and speaking of, here are her legs. These are the only minifigure legs I could find with red shoes in them, so we'll run with it. But I feel like you couldn't do Munchkin Land without these little fellas. They're from the Lollipop Guild. You notice in the movie they have some pretty funky hair that Lego definitely is never making, so this is about the closest I could get. I tried to do the thing with the mouth with the guy in the center, and his shirt matches pretty well. It's not perfect, but it works. Now I'm gonna put a stop to these guys, because next we have to go down the yellow brick road to see our first character. That's where the Scarecrow is hanging, and this is the Scarecrow minifigure himself. He has this really nice hat with a ribbon around it, and a pretty happy face. I definitely want to be friends with this guy. I also like the little carve-outs in his printing to show that he's actually stuffed with straw. And you can see around his neck the little rope that ties his head down. He also has a certificate of achievement, otherwise known as a college degree, that he was given by the wizard at the end of the movie. I just wish he had a facial reaction for when, you know, his head gets separated from his body. Like, bro is way too happy to be decapitated right now. I don't know if these guys count as minifigures, but they are the trees in the forest. They all do have personalities and faces, but they don't have legs, so I don't know if that disqualifies them from being minifigures. I did make one of them like throw an apple, so I guess we could say they're minifigures, why not? Either way, there's a more important character that was introduced in this forest. It's the Tin Man. This is just a fantastic minifigure. He comes with his axe, so we could, you know, take down these real people in real time. Help me, And then you have this perfect stump to put down his oil can. Oh wait, he doesn't have an oil can, but they included his timepiece? Nah, that's ridiculous. Now I may or may not have actually lost his heart clock, but the minifigure itself is cool with all the joints around his legs and around his torso and around his arms. And he also has a nose, which is pretty rare for a Lego minifigure. They also made was probably the first ever Lego siphon for his head. He also has a silver bow tie, which I kind of forgot he had, but once I removed it, he felt really naked.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
It's the Cowardly Lion. He has a double-sided face print. One is sad and one is happy, but none look particularly cowardly, which is weird because this is the Cowardly Lion. He's very good at chasing and getting chased by dogs. He also has this fun tail piece, which if reversed, you know, I don't want to talk about it. I think he's probably the most boring minifigure, and even though he's supposed to come with this metal eye, I also kind of lost that. Shh, don't tell anyone. Now that we're finished with the collectible minifigure series minifigures, and before we go into the bad guy minifigures, I want to show you some customs from the Emerald City. So these guys are gonna click their feet together and go home, because we don't need them anymore. Except Toto, you can stay. The first character I made was the Guardian of the Gates. I used Jiminy Cricket's top hat for him, and Vitruvius's lollipop stick, as well as Prince Naveen's cape. Don't worry, that's not the last you'll see of Jiminy Cricket. And this is the Populace. This is my attempt at just basically using all of the green parts I could find to make what would look like people that would appear in Oz. Legitimately, I had so few green torsos, I literally used a like backwards dragon for this man with some weird Oompa Loompa hair. Or we got like Han Solo with tan hair and looks like a barnstable manager, or Brad's brick post. I also made him a barber. With some of the ladies in the back, same deal. This guy even has an army man torso, which again, this doll just looks so out of place, but this is about the best I could do. This guy had too much to drink. Then by the throne, of course, we have to have the wizard. I'm actually gonna take off his hat. His torso comes from a K-pop Lego set, and the head comes from Sheev Palpatine from this Republic Gunship Lego set. It's the Emperor, by the way, which is kind of ironic. By the way, that's the land of Oz, so let's get to the bad guys.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Now here are the bad guys, or at least one bad guy, the Wicked Witch of the West. She came in the only ever standalone Wizard of Oz set, this LEGO Dimensions Fun Pack, which came with a funky build of a flying monkey and of course the first ever minifigure from Oz, a Wicked Witch. She came with a broom, the black hat, and it wasn't the last time we saw this minifigure, because here she is again with two flying monkeys that came in a LEGO Batmobile. Since it was the only set with the flying monkeys come with these two different variants, both an angry one and a smiley one. They're pretty large considering how these guys were in the movie, but they do look kind of cool. They're not my favorite minifigs in the world, but a lot of people like them, which is why they cost like $60 per figure. And for whatever reason, the smiley one's like way more. I also made the Winky guards out of red torsos, blue pants, and whatever green heads I could find, like this Army Man's or Jiminy Cricket. Told you he'd come back. And like that, we have the whole squad to take down the good guys until these guys are happy that the witch is dead. Yeah, because Dorothy may or may not have thrown a bucket on him. And this is all of the land of Oz, with all the different characters from the movie. And I think this just looks fantastic. Which of the custom minifigures of these was your favorite, and which of the official ones was? I'm going to have to say the best of all of these is probably going to be the Tin Man. Bruh. Dorothy's also pretty epic. But if you enjoyed this video, you're gonna wanna watch this one, because this one is pretty darn good as well. I will see you all later. God bless, and stay awesome.